Our I can statement is I can use a calculator to convert between different rational forms. This is day 1, part 1 of this lesson. The calculator referenced in the next 2 lessons is the TI-30X2. This picture is of the 2B. In class we have the 2S, but any similar model should have the same functionality. The keys just might be in a different location. So if we remember the rules we used to turn a fraction into a decimal using long division, the first place that we started, our first step, was to put the fraction into a division problem, and we're just going to use the calculator to do that step for us. So when you type it into the calculator, it will be the top number, or the numerator, divided by the bottom, or the denominator. Okay, so I'm going to type into my calculator. For the first problem, 5 divided by 9, I'm going to press enter. And in my calculator, I get 0.55555555555, and at the very end there is a 6. Remember that the calculator rounds the last digit. This is, in fact, 0.5 repeated. So remember that we indicate that with the repeated symbol over the 5. Go ahead and try 2 through 4 on your own, and then start the video back up as soon as you're ready to check your answers. All right, so go ahead and check your answers. For number 2, the correct answer is negative 0.375. This is an example of a terminating decimal. Number 3 is negative 0.27 with both the 2 and the 7 repeated. So in your calculator, this looks like 0.27272727, on and on forever. Number 4 is 0.2 with the 3 repeated. So this looks like 0.23333333333. There is another option. Using the fraction buttons on our calculator, you can use the ABC button, that's the one right here, to enter a fraction into your calculator, and you use that ABC button to separate each part of the fraction. So for example, in our first problem, you would type 1 and then the ABC button, 2 and then the ABC button, and then 3 to enter the fraction 1 2/3. Then you're going to press the second button and then the PRB, or probability button. And the reason is because above it we see that there is a bidirectional arrow, so pointing in both directions between fractions and decimals. So using that secondary function, it will take a fraction and convert it into a decimal. So we press the second button and then the PRB button, and it will give us our final answer of 1.6 repeated. Now, this I think is a little bit slower than just top divided by bottom like we've been doing in the past, but a lot of students can get mixed up about what to do with whole numbers in front, and so I just wanted to point out that this method is another option on the calculator. All right, number 6, 7, and 8, try on your own. Pause the video and then start it up when you're ready to check your answers. All right, number 6. This one has a lot of decimal places before we see it terminating or repeating. So for now, you can just write negative 3.631 with a ... Another option, depending on the instructions on the particular example, would be to round to a specific decimal place. Number 7 is 5.16 repeated, and number 8 is negative 0.4. All right, if we want to take a decimal and convert it to a percent, we first want to remember, if we're breaking apart the word percent, per means over or divided by, and cent means 100. Think about 100 cents in a dollar. So we want to write it as a fraction with 100 as a denominator, something per 100. So our step 1 is to write the number as a fraction over 1. Remember, we can do that with any number. Step 2 is to multiply the top and bottom by 100. Okay? Doing so will get the denominator to be 100 like we want. And when that happens, the top number, in this case 25, becomes our percent. Now I want you to compare where we started, 0.25, with our final answer, 25%. What did you notice? Hopefully you noticed our shortcut, that we can take and move the decimal point 2 places to the right. So, anytime you have a decimal, you can move it 2 spaces to the right, and that will give you your final percentage. All right, so let's take a look at some examples. So, on this first example, I'm going to move the decimal 2 spaces to the right, so I will get 45%. I want you to try the next 3 on your own, and then start the video back up when you're ready to check your answers. All right, we move the decimal over 2 spaces. This is a common mistake. If there aren't any other digits, you fill it in with zeros. Okay, so this becomes 30%. 3% is not the correct answer because 3/10 is the same as 31/100. Okay, if there is a negative sign in front, it doesn't change what we do to get to a percent, but we do want to make sure that our final answer is a negative percentage. So, for example, you might have had a loss of 75% of your profits. For number 12, we will move the decimal over 2 spaces, so we get 123%. A lot of students make the mistake or the error thinking that there's only ever 2 decimal place or 2 digits in front of the decimal, so they might write this as 12.3. That is incorrect. It's definitely possible to have above 100% as a valid answer. Hopefully this video helped you to understand converting between fractions and decimals, and then from decimals to percents. And stay tuned for part 2, where we'll work in reverse. We will take decimals and convert them to fractions, and we'll take fractions and convert them to percents. Thanks for watching.